Hello, and once again, we are live with the Modern Mystery School UK EU podcast and YouTube channel. And today we are joined by Julia Tiffin. Julia, hello, how are you?
I'm great. Thank you so much for inviting me today. I'm excited about today.
Well, I was excited too because we have seen in our newsletter, which I've put the links to in the bio here, that you've been writing this month has really been about healing.
Mm.
And it's so funny when you go out in the world, healing can mean different things to different people.
Yeah.
It can infer that we're sick or that we're unwell or whatever. But the way I read your articles, it's like everybody needs healing. So, can you tell us a little bit more about that? Why do we need healing?
I've really, spending time in Europe and the United Kingdom, I've really noticed where people's priorities are at and what knowledge they have around what's important. And there's a great lifestyle here, and I just see people prioritizing more. I don't want to say the next handbag, but actually sometimes people know they need to pay their council taxes. They know they need to buy that next outfit for work. They keep their lives together, and I'm like, but hang on a second. There is not an understanding for why we need healing, and um, from the mystery school's perspective, we are these eternal beings, and this is, this cool experience we get where we can buy cool handbags and we can go to the beach and we can do these amazing physical things. But we're really, really far away from knowing um, who we are at our core and our absolute core energy, our spirit and our soul. And while we've been living on this physical planet, it's honestly what I see in people is people get when they're little kids, they're more connected to their joy and they've got energy and they've got passion and they feel their spirit and they're alive. And then the more time we spend on this piece of rock somewhere in the universe hurtling through space, the more people move away from that, feeling of being alive, and that aliveness is we're connected to our spirit, we're connected to the fire in our soul, and it's very much like we've each one of us, this sort of physical body we have. It's like this is like some kind of a, I don't know, a 4x4, or maybe, well, hopefully a 4x4. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's a Volkswagen Beetle. And we've been driving along a freaking dirt road on this planet with potholes. Oh my goodness. And I've lived with these things, so I really know what it's like. And the more, and you literally, if you think about how old you are, and I'm getting on in years. If we think about how many years we are, it's like your physical, your car, your vehicle has been driving on that dirt road with potholes continuously, storms, floods, for all that time. And the engine, everything. I mean, imagine what's happened to that vehicle. And any mechanics out there listening, or any engineers, like, all the chassis got misaligned. There's dirt, there's dust in the engines, everything. Can you imagine how filthy that car is? How much of the world has seeped into the engine, is inside the dust inside the car. So, we're on this road and we've got cracks and energies that are not ours, energies from the outside world. And healing, it basically, it kind of, wherever there's cracks in our engine, where the world, the traumas, the challenges, the stresses, the harsh experiences that have happened, that's what actually creates the cracks, and healing brings it together. It helps us to connect with parts that maybe we've lost. Maybe you were in a dust storm and you lost your side mirror, or you lost your bumper or something. And healings bring back those parts. They heal the cracks, and they also get that dust and stuff that isn't you out. And imagine the difference between driving a really filthy car that you've been driving for however many years, however old you are, compared to driving a brand new box car out the box, like driving like a new BMW, a new Porsche. I mean, there is a huge difference to how you experience life. So we really need healing. And honestly, like I've just received a soul retrieval And I also received a starseed healing from two of my really good colleagues in the UK after I lost my cat of 16.5 years. And, it was like I was sort of grief I had to release, and there was a bit of a trauma just nursing her for 2.5 months or 2 months, whatever, through mouth cancer. And so I had pieces of me come back together. I released the grief, and I'm feeling amazing. I'm feeling a new person, like I've been reborn after the death of my beloved. And that's from just two healings, and this is what healing does. And we actually need a lot of different healings.
Yeah.
And for me, they're far more valuable than investing in the 10th handbag, because really, actually, how many do you really need? But feeling whole in yourself, that's worth so much gold. It's so amazing.
Yeah, and I think this is interesting because I think out there that the world is really tough. I mean, some
Mm,
people say it's tougher than it's ever been, and I guess it depends on, what you're doing in life and what have you. But this is a comment that I hear a time and time again. Regular everyday people are going about their business, just perhaps don't know that this
mm.
is an option. So can you tell us, a little bit about, what is healing in that sense of, everyday person? How can they access it? What, can we just simplify it? Because for us, we've been on this journey for a long time, but for people out there, they might not know where to start. They might not know what to look for. They might not know what to go for, or what indeed is actually classed as a healing or not.
That's an excellent question. And I think, just to clarify a piece, we have today the world of therapy and coaching, which has been very, very important. And one of the important parts of it is being able to identify or be aware that there even is an issue in the first place. But that in itself doesn't necessarily create healing. So let's say, for example, I had a negative experience I was 16 years old. Something happened very traumatic. Um, Maybe I didn't want to look at it for many years, and finally I'm telling myself the truth, and this happened and that happened. But when I had that experience, a very negative energy, like almost like my soul was like carrying this energy, like the memory is like glued to me, like with an energy. And just talking about it doesn't release the glue. So healings clean the energetic, like almost what keeps the negative experience attached to us. So imagine again, you've got super glue, you've glued something to you, you're going to need a really good solvent. So healings do that. And we have, in the lineage of King Solomon, we have a crazy amount of different healings. We have so many different solvents and so many different, like I think of Humpty Dumpty being put back together again. We've got gold, we've got like maybe some, very fine stitching. We have all different kinds of healings that can, they're excellent at, putting Humpty Dumpty back together again, just healing or getting rid of the energies we don't need that's keeping us stuck in the past. So, for example, in ancient traditions, almost many cultures had something called a soul retrieval. So if you went through trauma or many traumas, you don't lose your soul, but it's like you disassociate with parts of yourself. I remember in my late 20s, I was a real free spirit in my youth. Even at 19, I hitched into Africa, which is absolutely mad. But by the time I was 29, I'm like, oh, I felt I would never do that. I felt disconnected from that ability to be a free spirit. And it's like that part of me that is true to me was somewhere, like I was disassociated from it. And the soul retrieval brings that back to you. And the ripple effects of being back to a part of you or many parts of you, because actually our soul retrieval brings back lots of parts, has this incredible ripple effect, because when you are now whole, it's incredible how many other parts of your life just work. Clarity of your mind, your ability to function, the ability to plan, your ability to get things done, the ability to have good relationships, and so forth. So soul retrieval is just one of many. Sometimes we need a healing to cut away old energies from us. So, oh, I know that person I had a bad relationship with that person. Not that that person is bad, but I had a bad relationship with that person. I can tell myself the truth, but I still feel energetically plugged into that that negative energy in that relationship. Well, okay, fine. We can do something, to cut that negative energy away. Your good energy is back to you, and now suddenly you're back in your center. You're back in the driving seat, and now you can move forward with clarity. You learn something from that relationship. Now you have this energy back. You can see more clearly. Okay, in future, I realize I need to make better choices around this, this, and this. And I can move forwards. And I don't have to persecute that person and hold on to it. I can move forwards. Of course, there's many healings. There's many healings, and we're just sort of launching our little clarification in the newsletters and the blogs on our website. What different healings are out there, and we always lead with the life activation, which is actually an activation. And what it does is it plugs you back into more of your true essence or your DNA or more of who you are. So you have more of you back together, and that creates a lot of clarity, and it opens doors and pathways for you. And that can trigger healing. But we always say we lead with the activation, because if more of you is back together, any other healings we need to do are always basically more effective, because you have more energy to accelerate any healing we do over and above the life activation. But it's a huge topic, Davina Kate. It's really huge, and we're just really beginning explaining why do we need it, why would we want it.
Yeah, it's very key, and I think from the perspective of being successful, it's the one thing that people are missing, because you can have money and you can have the house and you can have all whatever you think, but actually there is still a massive gap. And you speak to people time and time again, and they've achieved what people think is successful. And it's often that they are missing, they haven't healed. They haven't healed those parts of them, to know who and so they can know who they truly are. So it's a huge part, and I think it's important, that we're not just talking about people that have depression, anxiety, all these different types of things. We're talking about everybody.
Everyone.
Everybody.
I have not met one person who doesn't need some or other healing. And the thing about it is that we aren't educated, and we can't quite put about it. We don't grow up learning about this, and we can't quite put our finger onto what is wrong when so much is right sometimes in people's lives. If you're depressed, it's obvious I need maybe healing, but when things are right, I need something, but I'm not sure what that is. And it's probably something, because we've all been on this piece of rock, and stuff has happened, and stuff has come in, and we've disconnected from parts of ourselves, and we need healing. I genuinely have never met a human being who doesn't need some kind of a healing.
Yeah, and I think it's important to say at this point that that's not a negative thing, because people often think, oh, I don't need a healing, I'm okay, it's because I've been there. That was me saying that, and now I get more healings than I ever have in my life. In fact, I get more so because I'm more aware, so it's the more you have in your life, the more success, the more love and joy and all these different types of things, the more healings we receive, because they are so good at keeping us to that really high vibration. So I just wanted to point out that we're not just, it's not a negative thing when you need a healing. When somebody says, oh, you need a healing, that's like, oh yeah, that would be nice. It's like going to the spa for your energy structure.
Totally. I mean, I remember the days when chiropractics wasn't a thing, right? I mean, people were like, well, that's kind of that weird, alternative stuff. And now it's like, oh, the chiropractor, or the osteopath. And that's what I do. And I think, it's not a sign of weakness. It's just, no one says, oh, something's really wrong with you, I need to go to the doctor for a checkup. I mean, that's kind of accepted. And I think that the awareness that, oh goodness, I might need a healing is actually something which is going to become just matter of fact. I just think we need to be aware, because we don't know. I didn't know this 20 years ago. I had no idea. So we just need to know we don't know, and then experience, oh wow, this stuff works, and then realize, oh, well, oh, I mean, I can get better than even this, because I thought I was pretty good. I mean, what? I can really begin to shift alchemically and really let go of things and really, really move forwards. It's pretty revolutionary when this comes into your life and becomes a part of it.
Yeah, so I'm sure we'll be talking more in the future. But if people want, to get in touch, please, Julia is available to have consults and such like. And if she's not close to you, she'll send you to somebody that she knows, no doubt, because we have lots of people all over the world ready to support. And we're not saying that we're the only path. There's of course many paths, but I know from my own experience that this is one that works every time. So that's my own personal experience. So yes, if you want to read the blogs, they are amazing, and the links are in the bio. So they're really fun and good reads. So it'll just delve in a little bit more. And feel free to join our newsletter. Go onto the website, scroll to the bottom, and subscribe. And there's an amazing Julia and her team do an amazing job every week of giving us lots of information and insights. It's always a very good read. So. Come and join us for meditations each week. There's plenty of stuff that you can do, and I'm sure we'll be talking more in the future. Thank you, Julia.
We've just begun this conversation. We've just begun.
Take care, everyone. Thanks so much.
Bye, everyone.